Good evening, guys and dolls, cats and kittens, my trues, clues aficionados. I hope you all are doing well out there tonight. Wanted to reach out to you and talk to you about tonight's case. It is one that has me. uh, What I wanted to talk to you today about, my pretties, in this evening's horror story is the Schendley family. And what the heck is up with the Schendley family? Apparently, there was quite a few kids involved in this scenario. The stepmom had some children, and then the dad had some children too. And somehow or another, there was like three boys involved. I think there was an older boy in the 20s on the mom's part. I don't know how. She had a couple of kids, I guess. And then the three boys that were involved in the story. So there was like a 16-year-old kid, I believe it was the dad's son, and they were all living together. And I guess the living arrangements weren't that good. So he eventually ran away and then located his biological mom on social media and moved in with her. While this was going on, the mom, of course, was trying to stand up for her children and was trying to file complaints, complaining over the fact that there was like something strange going on in the household there. But her attempts at getting that resolved were unsuccessful. No surprise there, right? So the case I wanted to talk to you about does have a particular scenario involved in it. It's called go to my notes here. It's called a one-child target, the Cinderella phenomenon, or target child selection. And sometimes it's because these children look like the parents or maybe resemble the parent that isn't there anymore that caused the breakup. One's still butthurt over the whole thing, and the child looks like that parent, so they take out their anger and issues on that child. Sometimes the kid reminds them of a certain situation and that targets them because these people already have issues. They've been abused, they might have drug issues, they definitely have anger and control issues, and that exacerbates to the situation where they target the one child. If the child has medical issues like ADHD, where they're extra activity or something like that that calls attention to them, that will also make them the target of the negative activity of the abusers. A lot of times they will get the children to come in and abuse that one child as well, sometimes by force, sometimes just because that's the way things go in the household and the kids have been, ingrained to react a certain way to this child. So eventually they start enacting those same properties. So in this instance, this little boy was 10 years old and he was living with this family, and to punish him, they would lock him up in the dark. He wouldn't have access to a toilet or toilet paper. He wouldn't have any communication with any others by electronic means or any other means. He was just completely deprived of any sensory reactions, which is so horrible. And they wouldn't feed him. They would beat him. They hurt him. I mean, he was completely covered, in bruises. It was quite evident something was going on that was violent with him. And he also had some dental injuries as well. So one day he manages to escape his household and he's going up the block. It's quite obvious that he has been deprived of sunlight. He's very weak looking, he's shallow looking, and he's plodding along trying to find somebody to help him. And the neighbor finally goes over to him and asks him, what's going on? Is there anything I can do to help you? Takes him inside, and the kid is like, hey, I escaped my parents. I don't ever want to go back to that house, no matter what happens. Do you have something to eat? I'm starving. Please don't ever take me back where I came from. And of course, they're like, what is going on? You know what I mean? So they call, the law and social services come in, they do an investigation, come to find out, yes, they had been definitely target abusing this kid. I don't think the other kids were doing that well either if that 16-year-old ran away, because the other son they just up and gave back to the biological mother one day. They called her and they said, "Hey, we're going to meet you with the kid. Come and get him. You know, we're done here. We don't want him anymore." So it's quite obvious that there was something weird going on with this family. So apparently, so the mom and the dad, stepmom and the dad, whatever they are, uh, have been arrested under suspicion of what's going on. So we're going to have to wait and see what unfolds with the case because, you know, innocent until proven guilty. And so soon after that, there was the son from the mom, who was 20 years old, that also has charges being filed against him too for abusing the child. Like I said, sometimes that target abusing kid gets more abuse from the other siblings as well. But I guess in this instance, he was to the kid. And what? Yeah, that's what happened. So now he's being investigated for abusing the child as well. And I say investigated, so nothing's solid here, but we'll see what happens as this unfolds. But that, my purdies, is my evening story for you all tonight. Good evening, y'all. I hope you all are doing well out there today. I'm reaching out to you tonight. I'm adding my original